Wow, we're back live again. This is the second time today that we've gone live. So my name is Michael Randolph, and I'm with the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. And what we do is provide technical assistance to nonprofits and small for-profit businesses. And we do that by providing an array of different workshops. The next workshop is going to focus on how to request, how to respond when you get a letter from IRS requesting more information to determine your status. From time to time, the IRS, once you file for your status, will write you and tell you that they need more information. Tonight, we're going to talk about what is it that you need to do in order to meet those requirements. Also, in future uh, uh, workshops, we're going to be talking about how to get your 501c3 status back again if it was taken because you failed to file taxes for 3 consecutive years if you make under $25,000 or if you make over that. If the status are revoked, we also provide a workshop on how to get your status back again. So let's jump into the conversation. Vanessa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can speak. I can hear you.
Excellent. So I'm recording this right here. I'm going to send it to you. So, because we're going to go through step by step as and break the letter down. It's not as complicated as they make it seem, but let's go step by step. Hold on 1 second before we get started. So this, for the folks that's looking at this as an informational video, is when what happens when IRS, when you file your 501c3, and IRS sends you a letter saying they need more information. Unless you're making a lot of money and everything like that, it's really a simple process. And it's not like they chose you, but they just choose people at random. So don't be in any way discouraged. So as you know, the letter starts off with "Dear Applicant," and then they're gonna say why they actually writing you. And they're gonna let you know, well, we need more information in order to determine your status as a 501c3. Do not worry. Every organization that ever worked with that got this letter got that 501c3 status. So one of the things they want to do when they ask you what you need right now, one of the things they're talking about to include a penalty of perjury and what is this? Include the penalty of perjury declaration. Basically, what you're saying, look, the information I'm sending back to you is true to the best of my knowledge. If you need to, I can make that statement for you. Then, when you send this back, they definitely want you to attach the letter that you received. And the reason why that's important is because they want to be able to go to your case immediately to resolve any problem that you might have. They also emphasize that they want you to send only one copy. Some people get nervous when they don't hear from them, they send another copy, making it complicated that way. To send one copy and give them a reasonable amount of time in order to respond back to you. Um, and then they tell you where to send your response to and the documents that they're going to need. They even give a fax number. So what can happen is that you can actually fax this back to them. Okay, and then they move from there and begin to second page is going to be entitled Information Week Requests. and it's going to be first request. That means sometimes they might have to send a second or third request. Don't worry about that. Now they're going to tell you about the information that they're going to need to make that determination. So they're going to want you to include earlier this statement that the organization, to the best of your knowledge, everything was in that document is true. So they have a statement. If you look right here, the only thing you have to do is cut and paste the statement and then sign your name. It's easy as that. Now, the next thing is what they call part two. And they're going to ask you to provide more detailed description of your past, your present, and your future activities. And here's the information they're going to want to know. They want to know what specific activities do you conduct, whatever activities that you do related to your nonprofit purpose. The next, they want to know, well, who participate? For example, your nonprofit focused on who as an organization? Vanessa?
Baseball. It's for the
Baseball. So
baseball
it's
league.
you. Yes, so it would be you, baseball. Then they ask, when do you conduct your activity? Might be once a month or whenever you provide that type of baseball help.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to know is what or how often do you do the activity? Then they want to know, do you charge a fee? Then they want to know what percent of your time and resources is spent on the activity. Now, for that particular question, since your nonprofit focus only on that, every hour that you spend on that activity is you goes to show how much time you spend on it. Then they ask, how does the activity further your 501c3 status? For example, you go back to your purpose, and whatever that purpose is, you say, well, these activities allow us to realize what the purpose is. So far, so good. Any questions?
Yes. Okay. So my first question is on page one regarding the penalties of perjury. So I just write out a statement and sign it, or type of statement and sign it.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut and paste, and you can just sign it.
Okay. Okay. That's what you was talking about. You want to copy and paste it and just sign
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna copy and paste it. Right.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Good. Okay. And then
Now,
that's the same thing with number one on the 4th page, right? I just signed it
yeah, they
there.
repeat that. Whenever they repeat something that many times, you know they want you to get it. Hey, look, don't send anything to us unless you declare under penalty, right? That
Mm-hmm.
everything you're saying is true to the best of your knowledge.
Okay.
And then they say, provide your revenues and expenses for the most recent year completed. And then they say also related to the most, not only to now, but also 3 years prior to this. So they want 4 years of information related to income and revenue. Now, how long have your nonprofit exist?
Since 19.
I mean, since you applied the for the renewal, how long has that been? About a year ago, 6 months ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. So what you want to do is to break down a simple budget. Now, for example, last year, how much money did your organization bring in? Vanessa, it's a question. You still here, Vanessa?
I'm still here. I'm so sorry. It keep on muted. I don't know. I don't know how to do this, so I keep on playing with it. So sorry for the delay. So
You're doing good. Don't worry about it. You're doing good. Go
okay,
ahead.
thank you. So with the incoming, that's just coming from the concession stands, but we spend it right back out with the
But
umpires and
but they
food.
just want to know any amount of money that you brought in. For example, if it's from the concession stand, if it's from people that donate it to your organization, if it's you donating to the organization, they just want a amount, a money amount as to revenue for every one of the years that they're asking that information for.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. I have like 90% of the receipts of what we spend out. Now, is that's what they want as well, right?
Yeah, but no. First, they want to know how much you brought in, and then
They
the
want
second question is how much went out. Now,
okay.
give me an example of how much money came in last year in totality from all streams of revenue that for your organization.
That came in, I would
Yeah,
say no more than maybe 600.
yeah. So you put down 600 as
Okay, and
total income, and
that's
then you
total.
break down expense, whatever that expense is. You might spend 300, 200, but whatever that was that you put in.
Okay,
For in your
okay,
case, it can be a simple budget because it's not that much. It's definitely not over 25,000. So it
correct.
can be simple. The year that the income came in, how the income came in, the amount of the income, and how it went out for whatever related to the youth and everything like that.
I
So just to keep it simplistic like that. Now they want you to do this for 4 consecutive years. That means last year, and 3 other years prior to that.
Okay, okay. So now when we get off the phone, I'm gonna send you one that I wrote down, and you just let me know if that's okay.
Sounds like a plan. Now
Yes,
let's
sir.
continue on.
Okay.
Okay, then they go back again to repeat the first page
Yes, sir. They do.
related to the do's and the don't.
Yes,
And the
sir.
do's is make sure you include that penalty statement. Make sure you include a copy of the letter. And make sure you only send one copy. Let me see anything else that I can discern from this letter here. That's it.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Yes, sir. So I just read this last part where they say don't include any personal identifying information like your bank account. So okay, so they don't
No,
want
your
no.
bank account, your social security card, none of that. You just put down the amount that was brought in.
Got it. Yes, sir. That's okay. That's
Because
easy.
trust
Okay.
me,
Sir.
IRS know your bank account.
Mhm.
Trust me, we deal with IRS. So let me summarize by saying that don't get panicked. This happens a lot to a lot of neighborhood. I mean, a lot of nonprofits.
Mhm.
It just they have some random system where they, you know, no logic, but they just pick some organization that submit, especially when you say you've been around for so long and you're asking them to recertify you again. They want to make sure that those prior years that you didn't make for so much money
Yes, sir.
and which you didn't. Now all the years that you okay. I also want to mention that this particular group had that, and I talked earlier in the presentation that we provide assistance to people who have lost, whose tax status was revoked. This particular group did have its tax status revoked it, and when we filed on their behalf, in order to get that status back again, that's when IRS send out the information that we're going over here in this particular presentation. So whenever IRS requests information, this particular case, the information was requested because the nonprofit had lost its status and nonprofit, and they ask for the status back, and they've been around for a while. And nonprofit and the IRS basically want to know, well, what have you been doing the last 4 years? Again, this case right here is related to an organization that actually got that status of revoked. Keep in mind that every group that we work with that had that status revoked, we was able to work with them, file the necessary papers to get them to get that tax status back again after being revoked. So let's continue on in the presentation. Operated your nonprofit. Which year did you make the most?
Which year I made the most?
Yeah, which year?
Maybe this year.
Okay, good. Now, once we get this out the way, I really want you to come back so you can bring me on as your consultant so I can work with you to bring in some definitely money into your organization. In order
Yes,
for
sir.
talking about money, I had to jump in, had to drop this ad right here. In addition to the workshop that we're talking about tonight, we also, for those organizations that are looking to get funding, we also provide in-depth grant proposal workshop that can last anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. It can be less. Some people like faster. Some other people need to, have a little bit more time. So this to talk about the in-depth grant proposal workshop. It becomes a big plus when you go after grants. If you can able to articulate that in terms of funding, we have on staff individual that write grants for our organization. Instead of having to go out and find a grant writer every time your organization goes after a grant. And as you know, as a small nonprofit, it's very competitive out here. So you don't want to write this one grant, but you might need to write 10 grants to 10 different groups just to get one. That means you have to pay somebody 10 times. Or you can come to us and we have the professional training we call the in-depth grant workshop, in which we provide that training from 4 to 6 weeks. As a grant writer, if we decide to just simply make money on the side, grant writers get paid anywhere from 20 to $200 an hour and up. So this want to share that information with you since we to continue what you do. We provide what's known as CEO training, and that CEO training goes to how to write a grant, how to bring in money, how to write a business plan, it's a strategic plan, all those things you need to know, especially it prepares you. So we need to have a conversation to your funders for a bank, government sources, you know the language to use necessary to get that. Because I think you can, because the fact that you've been around for this long can definitely bring in dollars to your organization. Now, where do you operate out of again?
Bartow, Florida, and Bartow at the baseball park. Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me a little demographic about that neighborhood.
Actually, it's like it's a small it's a small minority neighborhood.
Okay, let me go back because as you notice, we went silent for a second. Unfortunately, I thought I was talking, but I had um my mic muted. What I wanted to say, and I apologize for the period of silence. What I wanted to say was that CEO training, I think, is critical for nonprofits, especially if you're an up and coming nonprofit or you're a nonprofit that's been around for a while and you're a grassroots nonprofit. What we do with the CEO training is to give you those skill sets necessary to go after the really large pots of money. For a nonprofit to be effective at the very minimum, that nonprofit should be bringing in at least $250,000 at a minimum. What we teach you is how to go after that bag to get to get those large type of grants. What we teach you step by step in order to take you there. We've actually worked with groups that we worked with and have provided them with the CEO training, and they went from like nothing a year within 2 to 3 years, bringing in $250,000. And then check this: the same organization in year 4 and 5, they brought in $1.8 million. So it goes to show how critical the CEO training is because it includes how to write a grant, how to do a business plan, how to put together a strategic plan, just to name a few. That being said, let's go back to the presentation at hand. Okay. Is it high income, low income?
It's I'm
Give
gonna
me
say
the demographic in terms of income.
middle, low to middle.
What about crime?
Crime, maybe I want to say like low to medium too, because I don't really know any like it's not a high crime area. No.
Okay, what about dropout rate? Well, we don't know, don't worry, but that's some of the data that you definitely want to have on board when people shoot those questions to you. That's why I emphasize our CEO training. And I'll send that information to you once we get through this.
Yes, sir.
Um, well, once we get through this meeting, getting your paperwork. Now, when do you have to have this back to them?
He gave me an extension, so I'm gonna have it to him by next Wednesday.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, that's definitely very much doable. And as you mentioned, you can always get an extension, folks. When you get this letter right here, just call them and ask them for an extension.
Hmm.
So, and the reason why this is going to be a smooth operation, especially with Vanessa, because I'm the one that put the paperwork together for her to get her status her 501c3 reestablished again.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I know it's going to be, and like I say, our services is guaranteed. When you file that paper for your 501c3, and if you haven't gotten it because of A, B, C, and D, we stick with you until you get that 501c3. We
Yes,
don't
sir.
drop you if you come to us and say, I got a letter from IRS. They want all this. I don't know what to do. No, that's all figured into our fee when you bring us on board for your 501c3. So I definitely want to get that out there to the public. And no matter where you are in the United States, we provide this nonprofit type of service around the country. To date, we have probably provided training, all type of training, including the training that we're doing tonight, to over 3,500 nonprofits, faith-based groups, businesses, individuals, government agencies, etc.
Yes, sir.
And until we're working with groups to get started, we've had provided assistance to over 650 groups to get that nonprofit started around the nation. And Vanessa, when we come back again, what you going to say to the people? Got my 501c3.
3. Yes, sir. You correct.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So before we take anything else you want to say?
No, sir, that's it. I appreciate you.
No problem. I'm gonna send you a copy of this video right here,
Okay.
and then we'll take it from there. Okay?